What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Aligned Coach Podcast. This is Brian Elwood, and in today's episode, I want to go over the 4 elements of a successful outcome. So, if you're a coach or an expert and you've struggled to pick your niche and you cannot just clearly say what it is you do for people, and that piece of it has really just felt a bit vague, and you've maybe changed it a lot, and it feels like it's held you back from actually making progress. You can't really create your course, or selling it has been hard. You're not really sure what to say in your content. Then this episode is going to outline the 4 elements of a successful outcome, which I think most people struggle with. And it's, holding a lot of would-be coaches and experts back from sharing their message and changing lives. So let's get into it. The first one of the 4 is that you are currently passionate about the niche. So, in other words, if I caught you on a walk listening to podcasts on a Saturday, just doing what you do, what topics would you be listening to? Now, if your outcome that you're thinking you should do for people is helping people invest their money, but you are not currently listening to any podcasts or watching YouTube videos or reading books or however you consume and learn on the category of investing, then I'm going to challenge you that you've chosen the wrong subject matter to coach on, just because I think that in order to have the, just the persistence and the energy and the excitement needed to really see something through to success, you should be coaching and teaching in an area that you're currently passionate about, not something that you just think people need or you were passionate about in the past. Okay, so number 1, passionate about the niche. Number 2 is you must be fully competent in your ability to deliver this outcome. So what that means is you should really be able to get people the results. If your outcome is to help people, make an extra $10,000 a month, which is a really common one I see in the coaching space, then you should be able to do that. And you damn well better be making at least that much yourself. Okay? Otherwise, it's going to cause all kinds of problems. But number 2 is one of the biggest ones, is you must have the competence to deliver your outcome. Confidence is what I used to say there, but I realized that confidence comes from competence. I mean, you can scream affirmations in the mirror and pump yourself up, but really the best way to be confident is to actually be good at something and to have already done it successfully. So there's no stories. It's true. I can do this for people. It should feel, when someone hires you to help them get the outcome, it should feel about as challenging as if a little kid asked you to help them tie their shoes. How to tie shoes, you should know how to get the outcome. Okay, maybe that's not apples to apples. Tying shoes is always going to be easier than what we do as coaches, but I hope that at least levels you out a little bit. Okay, number 1, passionate about the niche. Number 2, competent 100% in your abilities and skills to get the outcome. Number 3, the outcome must be specific. It must be quantifiable. It must be measurable. 3 different words kind of mean the same thing, but this is a huge issue that people have in the education space, is they just don't have a specific outcome. They just say things like, I'm a life coach. I help people with their relationships. I help people make more money. That could mean so many different things. And, the client has no way of knowing if they even got the outcome. Are the relationships better? Did they make the money? What do you even mean by all that? If your outcome's not specific, the real reason you need this is when people are looking at your content, their calls to action, they're just not going to know what you do or if it's for them. And think about if all the times you've spent money on anything, It could be coaching. It could just be Amazon, your bills, like, do you spend money on things where you don't know what you're getting? Think about that for a second. Name a bunch of times where you spent money, good money, and you just weren't really sure what you were spending the money on. We don't do that. And so you can't expect your prospects to do that either. They need to know what they stand to get from your program, specifically, measurable. Okay, your outcome should be measurable as much as you possibly can. You're not coaching people on how to improve their relationships. You're coaching people on how to find their ideal partner in the next 60 days or whatever. That's real specific. We know whether or not it happened at the end of the program. So take that to heart. That's number 3, quantifiable. Number 1 was passionate. Number 2 is competent. Number 4, this is a big one. I could talk about this for a long time, but your outcome should be niched down enough as to not be competing with everyone else. So in the example of like, I help people find their ideal partner, that is specific. And let's say that you have a passion for relationships, so it's passionate, and you're competent, you can do it because you found your own ideal partner and you've helped other people do this before. It's still a really competitive space. So number 4, what we're getting into, it's in a bunch of books like Blue Ocean Strategy or 0 to 1 or Purple Cow. If you've ever read any of those books, their central theme is, instead of competing in the red bloody waters where everyone else is already competing, there's 1,000 other products for sale by people who have way more reviews than you and bigger lists and followers. Go one step removed from that and, create your own blue ocean and swim in that. And so that person that they coach their ideal, coach people on how to find their ideal partner needs to go one step more specific. There's a few ways that you can do that. One is you can change the targeting by which you, who you're going to target with that offer. So you could say like, I help entrepreneurs to find their ideal partner, or I help, former military or people in the military find their ideal partner. I don't actually know if this is a good idea or how saturated these markets even are, but can you see how by taking that one step out from the red bloody waters of I help people find their ideal partner, you actually make things easier on you. That, is huge. It's hard. Like, when you guys are hearing number 4, you're like, oh God, I don't have any good ideas or whatever. Let those emotions calm down and journal on this for a while and really discover what makes you unique. When I was a real estate coach, for some reason I chose the angle of 12 houses. Some of you might remember that. It's the old name of this podcast was 12 Houses to Freedom. And 12 houses wasn't really like a blue ocean. It was just a cool marketing gimmick, I guess, to help people remember me. But what if somebody promised 13 houses? My program would all of a sudden be inferior. What did make me unique is that I invest long distance. I live in Denver and I buy houses in Tennessee and Alabama. In hindsight, I wish I would have led with that as my unique mechanism, because there really aren't a bunch of other courses out there on buying rental properties in long distance markets and doing it all virtually. There's lots of content out there, and I do know of one book, but there's not like a bunch of courses and programs to choose from. So I would have had very little competition had I done that. And I wish I would have slowed down and looked at what I was doing, my own story, what made me unique. I could have found my angle to create my blue ocean. So those are the 4 big things. Like, if you want to create your ideal outcome, make sure you're really passionate about it. Make sure you can really deliver it. Make sure it's a very specific, measurable outcome, and make sure it's unique enough that you're not just out there competing with everybody else. If you do all those things, you are just going to break through the barriers that are probably holding you back now and be able to run with your idea, create content, It's sharp, it's crisp. You know who it's aimed at. You know what the calls to action are. You have this new confidence in you because you're not promising things that you can't deliver on, or coaching in a niche you're not passionate about anymore, or you're not like unclear on what it does. So you start rambling and then you're not competing with everybody. If you can get all those pieces nailed, I mean, you're off to the races, my friend. So everything that I've discussed in this training is actually one module of my brand new course that I've just launched called Nail Your Niche. And in that course, I help coaches to discover what their ideal platform is to create content and who their ideal avatar is. And then we do a deep dive into the outcome. That is the biggest module of the course. And every one of those 4 that I mentioned has like a long video with, checklists and worksheets to help you actually make sure you choose your niche you're passionate about, to choose your offer you're competent in, the one that's quantifiable, the one that's your blue ocean. And then we go into actually developing your product. Those are all actually what I think your niche is. I don't think it's just your outcome. And if you want help, then this course is tailor-made for somebody at your stage. If you're interested, shoot me an email. I don't have any fancy sales page set up, just brian@brianelwood.net. Let's have like a quick back and forth to see if it'd be a good fit for you. I've got just a couple more spots left at the Founders discount, and you get a one-on-one call with me. You get email support from me if you purchase the program before this Founders period runs out. And that's all I got for you guys. I hope this episode's been helpful for you, and I will see you next time. Here's to your success. Peace.